carries the anti-mage Shadow Fiend, and a set of 3 heroes that is entirely defensive and supportive in nature.
Yeah. It would be nice if they could. I mean, you don't want to do an aggro try with anti-mage, of course.
They're very limited in their options.
Yeah, it would be nice if they could, because either Earthshaker or Omni Knight up against a Darkseer, even though they're not going to win the lane, Darkseer is still shoving creeps into the tower, so they can sit back and get experience. And for those 2 heroes, that's really important, almost more important than farm in those initial levels, to be honest. So if they could somehow match it up, it would be great. But like you said, there's not a real great way to do that. So
I mean, honestly, looking at the draft more, I'm really favoring PR here in terms of, like, I expect PR to get out to an early lead. The one area where Vega could really catch up is with jungle stacks. And I think they have an X factor of anti-mage potentially being able to completely shut down a Darkseer. But I feel like PR are fairly laning dependent, independent. Like, Leshrac doesn't need a whole lot of help. Darkseer can always go back to the jungle. Bloodseeker is going to have a good time bottom. That's just guaranteed, unless they do some sort of crazy tri-lane like you were hinting at. But like you said, I think it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
And then PR goes into the mid game with a gold advantage and a lineup that snowballs pretty hard. So I think draft-wise, I really favor PR, even though, I mean, Vega did 3-1 them last time. So I'm going to give PR the edge here in game 1.
all right, well, it'll be an interesting game. We'll see if Vega can make this 5-man healing squad work, or if it'll be PR that takes the momentum from the laning stage. LD and Coddle Guy going to be your casters for this series, folks, and they're going to go ahead and take it away.
All right, Dakota, it's been a while, my friend. We didn't get to cast at the hub. I miss you, buddy.
Miss you too. I didn't cast with any BTS people. It was nice to, you know, try it out.
They
cast with some
separated
new people,
us. They put us in cages.
They didn't like that yet. No, certainly not. And this is going to be interesting. Vega have a very kind of defensive lineup. I'm not anticipating they're going to get too aggressive. No ganks to any of the lanes. So PR should be able to have a strong start at that point. And it's just a matter of continuing that momentum on forward and not allowing this AM to be a problem later on. I mean, it could seem like a pretty fruitful AM game. 4 out of the 5 PR picks are Intel based, so he could end up with a huge mana void that could turn things right on its head. But this is going to be pretty interesting, and well, unfortunately, we're going to be plagued with a bit more of a delay as Sonico has parted from us briefly, I hope, and we're just going to hit up a small pause.
We're like an hour behind schedule for game 1. We do apologize, folks. A lot of this out of our control, unfortunately. The server issues, the player disconnections, but we'll make the best of it here. So while we've got a moment, I guess we can go ahead, Dakota, and run through the lineup. So on the side of PR, we've got the team that's used their official name. So I'm gonna steal them, and I'll give you the honor of trying to frantically do some Wikipedia action to match up these random names for Vega. But we've got Goritz on the Shadow Demon support. It looks like it'll be Cheshire Cat playing the Darkseer in the off lane. Most likely heading towards mid is going to be Sunlight Dota on your Leshrac here. We'll see if he does end up going there. Ditya Ra, the Bloodseeker. We have got J4 rounding things out as the Winter Wyvern. And well, that concludes the Power Rangers. Last time they faced Vega, they got stomped pretty badly, 3-1.
Well, as I tried to look it up, unfortunately, I don't know if it's a server issue or Steam issue, but when I even try to look up their Steam profile, nothing pops up. Nothing pops up. So for now, they're men in mystery here on the side of Vega. We don't know exactly if they're sporting new aliases or if this is some sort of, you know, shuffle for after their run at TI. But for now, we have the memer here in the top lane. We have AM here, duking it out side by side with Solo, playing your Dazzle, supporting him by his side, but Cheshire Cat feels pretty confident to kind of get what he wants in the meantime and just use his regen. Sonico, who's been going to be standing in form, I imagine he's still a part of Na'Vi, but for now just helping out. He's going to be playing your Omni Knight, who's doing the stacks as you said, and kind of babysitting your mid lane Shadow Feet played by Heart. Or Love.
Love,
and then
nothing but love.
Nothing but love right there for your Shadow Fiend. And then finally that leaves none other than Mag, notorious off-laner, going to be playing your Earthshaker along the bottom here. And for now, he's feeling pretty confident on getting this nice and close. J4 not there to really zone him back, and Shadow Demon's been hanging around this mid lane.
All right, well, with that, let's get into the game. There was a bit of early pressure mid. Goritz actually moved in at level 1, went for the disruption into Split Earth, and I think they would have gotten a first blood with the boots advantage there on the Shadow Demon, but did have the Omni Knight, as you mentioned, defensively, so I like the way they've set up the lanes here. They are getting their stacks off freely, and look at this Darkseer top lane. I'm curious to see how he does. So far, he's having a pretty good time, though, and Solo really going up hard, but he's used all his mana here. And Cheshire Cat still has the Mango available. He really wants that Soul Ring and ideally the level 3, but he may not end up getting it before he has to go back to base.
Yeah, now he's pretty hurt, and that was his last tango, so if he wants to decide to save for the Soul Ring and not step off for regen, he's got to play cautiously here, and he's being a bit assertive with this Surge. Now he has no mana to use it whatsoever in case pressure does come, so he'll make do with it for now. Already up to 7-0 CS because of his Ion Shell. On the bottom hand side, your Earthshaker is already at level 3. He's got 5-0 CS. It's a better start than I was expecting because, well, I was expecting Goritz to be down here zoning him back, but he continues to kind of just dance around this mid lane. He now has a haste rune, but just kind of toying with the idea on pushing on forward. I guess they put a lot of favor in hoping that their Lesh will have a decent time against Shadow Fiend, who might be a bit more in favor, you know, in this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, it's like you said, putting the Shadow Demon mid it's a trade-off. They're not really shutting down and zoning the off lane quite as much as they could. They went boots first on Shadow Demon, so I feel like there is some kill potential in Mag. If they get that disruption, you can follow up with the Bloodseeker silence. Almost certainly you'll get that off and then go for a potential kill. But Shaker getting more out of the off lane than a Darkseer early on as far as experience goes. And we talked about Vega as an experience-hungry lineup, and I certainly think that's true. They're getting quite a few stacks off in the jungle here now. A triple stack already, actually, excuse me, a quadruple stack on the big camp. And to top it off, they've managed a double stack on the medium camp, Dakota. So I gotta say here, I think for PR, it's very important that they contest the jungle before these stacks are farmed. Send in the Leshrac, maybe send in the Darkseer as well, and if not steal them, at least try to find some kills. But if they just let Vega farm those up, even though right now Vega's falling behind a bit in CS, they're gonna catch right back up.
They try to make a move here on the Cheshire Cat, but he just surges off to the right-hand side and away from trouble. Really, the only way they could lock him down is none. I mean, they have the slow of the poison touch, but it's not like it's leveled up for a stun or anything. He's just easily able to walk away. That's the second poison now, and it looked like they were hoping that, you know, Shadow Fiend would be able to kind of intercept and get a kill himself, but now he is dealing with Sunlight here, dishes off the Lightning Storm, follows up with a stun that does connect, but he sees Omni Knight nearby and decides to double back instead. So a lot of footsie play happening here, but no one able to really follow through with any sort of crushing blows.
It's a moment there where I think Sunlight's like, wait, what, is this a tri-lane at the top Brood now? Like, can I just get my matchup mid, please? But no such luck. I do want to point out J4's waiting, though. He's got the Arctic Burn ready. They may try to swoop in here for a play on mid.
The DD.
That's a very long attempt, but yeah, unfortunately unable to find it. And I mean, look at the emphasis they placed on protecting the Shadow Fiend. They've got double Observer wards on both rune spots mid. You don't really see this very often. It's just a big commitment in protecting them. The Omni Knight going mid. We've seen the warding there, just very defensive positioning in general. And it's not really paying off that much in terms of CS, but again, the jungle is where he's going to catch up.
Yeah, and you could see it continues to build up. So Nico getting another stack on the other side camp, because you can't do much more after you get the quad on the big camp. But this Shadow Fiend is going to have a heyday of farm in the jungle waiting for him, and that's going to put him pretty damn ahead. But on the other side, you do have Ditya on the bottom lane, who's been pretty much having his own time in the bottom. He's 35 and 14 frickin' CS, so the denies up there alongside. Mag is just able to finally scathe out level 4 at this point, but this Bloodseeker is also going to probably look to break out in some action here, maybe even as soon as he gets this Rupture underway. But we'll have to see if he's going to be as fortunate to be able to grab either Mag or what have you. And top lane, Cheshire Cat harassed a bit, but again, they can't do anything about it.
You know, Dakota, it's kind of mid lane. I actually just caught the very end of the corpse hitting the ground, but they do find that kill mid. Looks like the Shadow Demon made a move in with a disruption into a split earth, and I was going to say, I feel like Bloodseeker is a pretty interesting potential counter to these jungling strats. Like, inevitably a hero is going to fall to a point where he starts getting bonus move speed. He was up to 500 plus, but the heroes weren't below the visibility threshold, so he didn't actually see them, and I guess you have to be paying really close attention to notice exactly like when it starts happening. They don't end up making the go there, but could have been an interesting play to try and run the jungle as soon as you get that extra move speed.
Some breaking out here. Goritz leads in with a disruption follow-up stun. So Nika had already repelled himself, so he couldn't help out Shadow Fiend, but after it concludes, he gets off the heal. They have nearby help in the form of Solo on his Dazzle, so because of a PR, can't really follow through with anything. J4 continues to kind of do this dance between bottom lane, zoning back mag, and being there at mid in case something breaks out. Top lane continues to be Cheshire Cat getting harassed. It looks like the anti-mage almost fakes out the mana void, but doesn't really commit with it, feeling like he would not be able to get the finishing blow, and decides to step back. Bit of a different pace than what we saw in the last series. It was action nonstop. This one seems to be a bit more slower of a start.
It's a bit of a slow burn here for sure, Dakota, but I feel like it's going to pick up soon. Bloodseeker's hit level 6. You've got a level 5 Darkseer. You can at least start to get involved a bit. We do see a couple of stacks still remaining, but a lot of them have been cleared out around the map, and I feel like this is definitely not a farm war type of game for PR. At some point, they want to start making moves. If you let the Omni Knight get too many levels, same for the Dazzle support, if you let the Shadow Fiend farm out another wave of stacks, then gets towards like that first big item, be it a BKB or maybe even more likely a mech this game, and then it gets hard to fight into Vega. And meanwhile, you do have a free farm anti-mage. Sure, there's a Bloodseeker, and he's, I think, still okay against AM in some ways with the Rupture, but not a farm trade you just want to give away freely. You want to put some pressure here on the map if you're PR, and maybe the big thing they're waiting for is just going to be that Wyvern or Shadow Demon level 6. They're trying to give their supports a little more farm priority right now.
Yeah, this early game is going definitely in favor of Vega, even though they dropped the first blood. I feel like we were anticipating more PR being able to do as they please and be a bit more offensive, but Vega extra cautious, extra defensive with their play, having Omni Knight nearby, and well,
they want the heal bomb here mid.
Oh, they get off the raise, but the immediate disruption does come out, and that's more than enough to prevent them from getting anything done. But Vega have been very cautious this game in defensive with their wards and their security of having Omni Knight there. Mag has been very hesitant with the Earthshaker because of it. PR can't really do much with what felt like they'd have a very strong early game.
I mean, numerically, PR is winning, just to be clear here. They're up by like 2,500 gold, 1,500 experience. It's more, that's expected, right? You look at the draft, they're supposed to be ahead. I just don't feel like they're far enough ahead right now. And a lot of these heroes don't really need much farm. Like Omni Knight Dazzle, just getting your levels, you can do a lot with Boots, Wand, maybe a Soul Ring in the mix. PR are still ahead, though. They continue to somewhat out-farm. They went for the Dayara Midas, as I think you mentioned a bit earlier. And we are seeing a lot of stacks now for Gory. So he's starting to play catch-up, and it seems like PR may just angle into an economy game here. Just no real sense of urgency. I'm curious to see when their timing comes in, if they feel like there's a certain key item or level where they want to make a move. But so far, they seem very content to just sit back and farm.
Yeah, Vega are also playing their own economy game. Shadow Fiend's muscled through. He's muscled through one stack. He muscled through the next one, and so Nico set up this one for him, and he's gonna rip through that. So he was at about third, fourth in net worth, and he's shot up to second right now. And I'm curious to see. It looks like his early investment. He's going straight for the mech on his Shadow Fiend.
I mean, this is okay. It's just like once Anti-Mage gets Battle Fury, it becomes harder to keep up in these trades, right? At that point, he can clear the jungle just as quickly as the Shadow Fiend. He can, to some extent, also start to pressure the other lanes. He does have to be a bit worried about getting like that Disruption Leshrac stun or even a Winter's Curse coming out, but they don't have like an instant blink initiator along the lines of a Slardar who can just reliably jump you and lock you down off the bat, so I still feel Vega, if they can just get the Battle Fury uncontested, not lose any towers, will be in good shape here. But well, for now, it's, as you mentioned, a nice and slow game for both teams. Just stack after stack after stack. This takes me back, man. This feels like DreamHack Winter 2012, to be honest.
They're going to have so much heal on the side of Vega and Sustain. Omni Knight Dazzle, the mech on a Shadow Fiend. PR, if they can't finish off the brute force of like a strong start to a fight, then Vega are just going to buff on up, heal up, and then just turn the fight right back around.
It feels like that Bloodseeker silence is super important in this game. If they get a good one, maybe a vacuum into it, then you've disabled 2 or 3 of the defensive heroes off the bat, potentially. So if they don't, then like you said, it could really fall apart quickly.
Do you think it's so important that maybe he should consider something like a Yule's, so it's almost guaranteed he'll get something set up with the Blood Right, or does he need to go down a different kind of path?
I think they have enough other lockdown, right? They've got the Disruption into left stun, they've got the vacuum into anything, the Winter Curse.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it seems like that's what they were waiting for, was in fact the level 6s on both supports, Dakota. They're making the move top, and should they get off like that Disruption into Winter's Curse on an Anti-Mage with Illusion smacking him the whole time, he's not living through that.
See if they can get it here. AM stretches himself just a little too far forward. Maybe Cheshire Cat just like, yeah, nothing's new here. I'm playing the same game I've been playing this whole time. But here we go. He's getting too eager. I don't think the opportunity's going to be there. Yeah.
This is really nice defensive play by Tule Meme. Have I jinxed him? Have I jinxed him? Oh, he can at least buy here if he's quick. Get the Void Stone off. No, he blinks away.
It is time wasted for PR, and they were hoping to be able to kind of get themselves ahead even further once these level 6s do come online, but they come up short on that one. Maybe just instead try to just add some pressure and go for the tier 1 or get some damage on the tier 1 while they can. But if you look at the other side of the globe, they're making a go at their own core here. Potentially in trouble. Mag already leading it with the fissure, locks him in place, follow up Echo, anything he can to keep him in place, because here comes Soniko walking in, only level 1 DJ Nora, but he's walking around the corner. Blood right lands, J4's here, and he just out the curse. So you're Bloodseeker going to be A-OK. Both ganks coming up short.
Yeah, now I guess the question is, who's going to get the first tower here? You've got the Leshrac in position for Sunlight Dota, and I think with that, and no glyph available, Vega will lose their first tower of the game. Pretty unfortunate they don't get that kill there. The missed heal from the Omni Knight doesn't help, and then they only got off the one raise. I think they actually needed both to secure the kill, and, well, PR overall, the winners of that exchange because of the tower advantage, and we'll see them press in a bit, but still this anti-mage, he's going to have a very fast Battle Fury. Tule Meme looking like 14 minutes or so, maybe 15 to 16 tops will be when he picks it up, and looks like he may just go straight into a Vlad's after that. Super turbo farm anti-mage, really. Yeah,
pretty standard cookie cutter for your farming heavy anti-mage, just anticipating he's going to want to go into the later portions of this game and allow the Shadow Fiend to kind of do all the heavy lifting in the mid-game period here, who's now ripping through the PR jungle. He already picked up the mech, so I don't know. What do you think he goes from here after the mech? I mean, Rules has been something of the old standard for a while. Maybe he could still go for extra mobility, Blink, Shadow Blade, or maybe just a good old reliable BKB. Won't help, though, against a lot of the stuff on the side of PR, though, so you kind of have to second guess.
Yeah, I think BKB is still decent just because you cannot rely on the repel this game, right? As you mentioned, there's always that demonic purge. So I feel like just for that, maybe you still consider a BKB anyway, and it also allows you to save the repel for somebody else, but here we go, J4 caught out. There's the disruption.
Yep, good save disruption. J4 is going to head to the skies and fly over the fissure, but he can't avoid the right-click damage coming out from Solo. The Dazzle going to be able to finish him off here. He eats a lot of damage from the Purge and some poison, but not nearly enough. So just a bit of an overstep right there. A lot of attention towards getting some of these D-wards here, but your Winter Wyvern will go down.
On the Bloodseeker, but no, they're not going to go for him. Looks like they may make a go here on mid. He's setting up for the Requiem. Not getting it.
Nope.
Actually made feed for this.
Gets the stun off, and he's eating a lot of damage. That Soul Catcher in play, and you can see its amplification at work, but what a fissure from Mag. Will save him, and he hightails it out of there with the help of a Haste Rune. That could have been disastrous, but what a save.
Well, Dakota, 15 minutes in. Score is 1-1. That Battle Fury about to come out for Tule Meme. Vega only have lost one tower here. And that was about as narrow of an escape as you'll ever see. He's really living life on the edge, and we are going to see Mr. Nothing But Love, our Shadow Fiend, go straight into a BKB here. It looks like picks up the Ogre Club, and we'll just be looking to tank up here so they can reserve that repel for somebody else. It's also only a level 1 repel. That's the other thing. The Omni Knight is not getting a ton of experience this game.
No, he has to get the essentials, wants to definitely level up the heal, and then he gets to his 6. You got to have Guardian Angel, of course, so yeah. Still needs some help in building up the extra bit of XP, whether it's leeching off from the jungle or getting a bit of soul time here, which he seems to be trying to do in the mid lane. But another tower goes down for PR. This time the bottom tier 1 is going to be dropped, freeing up a bit more space. Ira, who had already completed out his Shadow Blade, yet to use it offensively, or maybe just hasn't sought out the opportunity quite yet. He's just happy to take advantage of already his top net worth lead and continues to farm up. But here we go, the three of them together now. They have a smoke? Nope, they're just kind of running amok right now, it looks like, but not looking to kind of go on the assault quite yet.
Yeah, the one thing that does concern me with Vega is we mentioned them as a fairly experience-hungry lineup. Their supports are doing pretty well in terms of levels, but all three of their supporting cast members, the Shaker as well as the Omni Knight and the Dazzle, they're really poor. Like, it's one thing to be a bit underfarmed on those heroes, but they've got to be down, what is that? Like, we're looking at, I don't know, maybe 3K collectively, if not a bit more, across the three of them compared to their counterparts. And I guess the big item that they're looking for right now is going to be that Shaker Blink. If Mag can farm that up, it can change and turn the tides of this game. But for now, he doesn't have it. That is their weakness. They lack that initiator. And PR are looking to make some initiation of their own happen. They smoke in towards mid. They get a ward down. Ping comes out from the Dire. Don't actually think they saw this, but it's a double damage Bloodseeker. Say goodbye to your tower.
Yeah, I feel like Vega are just going to have to accept that they're going to be losing a lot of their towers. Even their tier 2s are probably going to be going down here after, and then maybe even a Roche going to the hands of PR at some point, and they're putting a lot onto this anti-mage in the late game. He's having a good time. He's got great farm. Early Battle Fury will help accelerate that even further, but I don't know. Could be one too many eggs in that basket. We'll have to see. PR have enough lockdown for him that if he gets a bit out past his boundaries, he could be in a bit of trouble here. And you can already see Goria's kind of scavenging a bit, hoping for that kind of opportunity, but they're back on mid lane here. Let's see if they can lead it with something like a Winter's Curse to get the party started.
Yeah, they are trying to keep the pressure up, but it's the stage of the game where the anti-mage is ideally creating space for his team. That's generally what we see, but as you mentioned, there's just so much lockdown for him. Disruption, great against AM. You've got the Purge, the Winter's Curse, the Bloodseeker Rupture, as well as the Silence potentially. A little bit less reliable there, but it's a little dangerous for him to go for the split push. So he's mostly been farming his own jungle, where generally we see anti-mages wanting to focus a bit more on... Dayara was hunting for him. We generally see the anti-mages wanting to focus more on pushing the lanes and let their supports get the jungle, just so everybody gets a piece of the pie, but they just can't do it, Dakota. And that's not even mentioning Dayara with the Shadowblade, who was hunting him and almost found him here top lane.
This is one of those times where I hear people like Blitz say a lot that maybe one of your safest places to farm is actually your opponent's jungle when they're busy like kind of running around your own jungle trying to catch out. Hell, they even put down obs, Vega did, in the PR territory as if they want aggressive vision, but they're not utilizing it really as it stands right now. They will be able to as they push down this bottom tier 1 and see if anyone's coming in, but they're going to be losing a tier 2 at the same moment, so PR are going to be fine with this. In fact, they take it down fast enough, they'll rotate to the bottom and try to get a defense. J4's first one in, but already Vega retreating, looking to play it extra safe.
I just feel like it goes back to what we discussed towards the end of the draft. Is there's just nobody to make plays for Vega outside of the Earthshaker at this stage of the game. They pretty much just have to sit back, and I still think they're a very strong turtle lineup. They're a very strong late game lineup with great defensive supports, but they may get starved here, at least the non-cores. They're down now about 8k gold. Experience still very close to even, though. And remember, there's a big tower advantage right now. There's 0 towers down for Vega. There's 4 down for PR already. So if you remove the towers from the equation, it's pretty close to an even game at that point, or at least very manageable. And I would still say Vega fully capable of coming back, but with that said, it's very much PR in the driver's seat. We're going to see the Bloodseeker now go towards... I'm actually curious, what does he go towards here? Do you see that straight upgraded Shadowblade just to deal with the anti-mage spell shield, or do we see him go back into something a little more defensive like a BKB?
It's hard to say. LD, there's 2 kills in 20 minutes, so I want to say that he'll
This
look
is
to
Russian
play
Dota,
aggressive and, you know, get the upgraded Shadowblade, but then again, the way the game's been played, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the BKB and decides like to slow play it a bit. But here we go. We got a smoke from Vega. They're finally like, okay, let's try to get some blood on our hands. But smoke already gets popped in the front from Solo. J4 might have caused that one. They're still on the chase here if they can get up with him. Mad could lead with a fissure, but they're just feeling like we've gone too far.
There's no follow-up. They got fissure into walking in.
Yeah.
Like, it's just brutal.
It's not like they have like the luxury clockwork or something like that who can kind of get things let in and hold them in place so that these other damage dealers like your Shadow Fiend can walk up and be able to catch them out. It's going to be too difficult here for Vega to get something set up at this point. They might just have to hope that maybe PR overextend when they start pushing into the high ground, and then they could turn things right back around. But in the meantime, it's going to be a bit difficult. Here comes PR, though. We might see our first real big fight of the game, LD, as they head towards the bottom lane.
So BKB Ditya moving in. J4 gonna join them. Oh, he gets off a great curse to start this one off. Then the silence coming through. Shadow Fiend BKB not yet available, but the heal looks to turn it around. He's kept alive a bit. Now out comes the Omni Knight ultimate, as well as the Grave. They're throwing everything on to nothing but love to keep him alive. He will finally go down here. It looks like they stop attacking him. They didn't finish him off after the repel ends, and they get off an extra heal. Almost ends up keeping him alive. Will finally fall a 2 for 2. Everybody scatters. Excellent Mono Void coming out, and our anti-mage Dakota, he may look for a bit more. Tule Meme gets repelled after a stun. Now he blinks on forward, aggressively surging in, and PR just firmly forced back.
So this isn't over yet. Now he's looking to make a go onto the Darkseer, then decides to double back. Unfortunately, that wall didn't catch the AM. There's a disruption to stop Soniko from charging on forward. Cheshire Cat, not much mana to work with, but look who's back in Sunlight. He's got Surge. He's running on forward. Can he get the catch? Lightning Storm will set up a good... Oh, this will make things a lot easier. There's a Split Earth in the connection. Mag tried to save him with the fissure, but it's not going to be enough. When the dust finally does settle after what was a very, very slow start, it is going to be PR just etching out ahead in that fight, barely with one extra kill.
It's not even really a huge win for them by any means. The good news is the hero that lives really benefits from surviving more than most, a Bloodstone Leshrac, but still, Vega, that could have been a lot different. They didn't focus the Shadow Fiend after the Grave and the Repel had worn off, and they let the Omni Knight get off one extra heal. So he gets off another raise, I believe, at that point, a couple extra auto attacks, does eventually die with the Death Requiem. I think that just could have been smoother for PR if they got a little bit crisper on the execution, but it shows you the power of the Vega draft, something we talked about. Just very strong defensive supports. You think a hero's dead, you think they're dead, you think they're dead. There's the Grave, there's the double heals coming out, another Repel, an Omni Knight ult, a Fissure. We saw multiple in that fight, and things just get a little bit dicey real quick. Top lane though, Tule Meme. He'll be fine.
The game sense is tingling. He just pops right on out. Knows that he doesn't want to be overstretched too far. There's a lot of PR missing. Most of them actually gathering towards this bottom lane. Vega charging on in. Do have an advantage in numbers if they want.
Doing here up front?
Yeah, he gets caught with the Winter's Curse. There's going to be a quick Yule, so he could be locked down in place before he gets anything off. Remember, no Guardian Angel. Will have to heal himself. PRC that there's a lot here behind the rest of Vega, so they decide maybe this isn't the fight we want to take. They decide to step back instead. Split Earth not going to be catching on anyone. As Vega kind of second-guessing here, but here comes Tule Meme. Now he'll commit forward. He's looking to go for Gorietz. Gorietz going to get locked, but he's got that Glimmer. It is going to save him. They can't quite make a move on in. Now he steps back. Disruption's going to be there. Sets up for a Blood Right that should connect on the Mag. Gets slowed with the Lightning Storm. Grave will save him, but he gets Vacuum on back, and he will barely hold on out. Then they decide to finish him off. Requiem flies. Not the biggest of damage here, but he's trying to raise down J4, but there's the extra heals coming out. Sunlight back and refresh. The mech also popped. There goes the Guardian Angel. Off cooldown now. Ditya moving in. Pops BKB. Runs back out. A wall drop. Not very effective. Tule Meme. Big stun connects on the 2. Tries to jump away. Gets blown up. So with the Shadow Fiend. The biggest significant fight so far. Going in favor of the Power Rangers. Alone. Solo. Trying to run for his life here. Slows him down with Poison Touch. No Shallow Grave for 10 seconds. See you up. There's a Twister. There's a Split Earth. And he's dead. Triple kill for the Dirty Rod himself. Oh, man. Big fight for PR. 8-3 now.
Did you just call him the Dirty Rod?
He's a dirty player.
That's great. I'm pretty sure Anti-Mage blinked twice while Ruptured that fight. There was one blink down to the low ground, like right as the Rupture came out. And then I think he blinked once more right before it ended. And Bloodseeker ends up doing 2,100 damage that fight. There was an Omni Knight heal, I believe. The ultimate came out as well, maybe a couple Shadow Waves. They still get the AM kill in the end. And I mean, it started bad, right? It started with Mag getting caught out of position, couldn't even get off a good Fissure, ultimately dies without dropping an Echo Slam. I think given that, you can't really expect to win the fight if you're Vega. Even Shadow Fiend had to BKB not prematurely, but very early before they had any real chance of getting kills, and it just shows how much Vega relies on the Shaker. If they don't get a good Fissure or Echo initiation, they just have no reliable way to start the fights, unless you look at like an Anti-Mage Abyssal Blade or something along those lines, but that's quite a bit farther off. And Dakota, now we're going to see an Aegis coming out. That'll go into Mr. Dirty Ra's hands. He's going to be very confident now to strut on in.
I don't think PR are going to let up. I think now they know they have a huge advantage, and they're going to continue to pressure the rest of the lanes. There's still a tier 2 staying in the mid lane if they want it, but Sunlight TP to the top lane by himself, and he might get punished here for it. Quickly clears it out. Uh-oh, here comes Mag. Nice quick heals will stop him from getting off the fissure here, but can he run away from the rest of the group here? And it looks like he will. Good quick reaction stops the fissure from coming, and once you take him out of the equation, you can just see the lackluster Vega, you know, lineup where they can't do anything else about it. There's no strong initiation, no way to like block anyone out from running away, and PR just continue to slip out. And there's another slip away. Winter Wyvern almost potentially caught, but an easy TP. Meanwhile, you can see now they're turning it on to AM. Yules, Split Earth. Do they have the burst to finish him off? They certainly do. They even commit the curse for it. Oh, this is not looking good for Vega. Now 9-3 PR. Up, and away we go. 14K net worth advantage.
It's getting out of control. That one fight and then the Roche, all of a sudden PR, not just with some tower gold in their pocket, but now way up in experience, net worth overall, and even should Vega win a fight, they're still going to be down, I mean, minimum 6-7K, and that's assuming a team wipe. And there's no buyback on the anti-mage Dakota, so PR going to take this opportunity to walk up onto the high ground. Leave him Blood Rage Sunlight. Not sure they can really do much with that. Maybe trying to heal him up a bit, but he's got Bloodstone with 16 charges. Dityara has Aegis. They've got 2 extra lives in this fight, and they can be right back and ready to go for round 2. Not to mention, by the way, not sure if you talked much about this, they've got double Glimmer Cape now. Not just the first one we saw earlier, but a secondary one to counter a lot of this magic damage coming from Vega.
Glimmer Cape now coming on Winter Wyvern is almost now the standard, as we saw what it could do in the hands of someone like Sonico, and he knows firsthand. But okay, good stun. They got the dust, but Dityara simply pops his BKB and steps back. Now is considering manning up on the Sonico. Sonico's like, I'll Guardian Angel, I guess, to see if I can man up, but now he has to TP out. Just a very awkward kind of engagement there for Vega. Very easy for Dityara to kind of step back and away from that one, but Sunlight looks to move in here. Now they are able to finish off Ditya, but he does have that Aegis, but maybe a bit of deja vu. There's a Yules, but Split Earth was not ready to go, but what a jump in from Mag, and you're right, Echo Slam followed Requiem. This could be their time. They try to save him out with the Cold Embrace, but it's not going to be enough. Sunlight put into a corner, forced to commit suicide to make his way out without handing over too much. J4 going to be locked into a tree closet, and he will also be dropped. This has been the only potential we've seen from Vega this game so far. Hopefully it's going to be one step in the right direction to get them back into this game. They desperately needed it.
That looks really bad for Vega. They committed an Omni ult to chase a Bloodseeker and pop a BKB charge. And normally you'd be like, okay, now PR are going to go heal and just run down mid while Omni ult's on cooldown and threaten high ground. But they stick around a little bit. The Echo Slam was just incredible. And the other thing was that Anti-Mage managed to pop that Aegis on the back lines of the fight without really committing anything. He still had the Mana Void ready. Just a great fight by Vega, and I mean, honestly, pretty cocky and over-aggressive by PR to stick around, to commit after the Bloodseeker BKB was used. And I think even more importantly, they didn't have the Winter's Curse. You saw the initial setup on the AM. The Winter's Curse had like 10-15 seconds cooldown still, so they weren't able to get it off to focus him down. If they do, he dies there most likely. I believe Grave had already been used. Omni had already committed all his spells, and then maybe it's a different fight. But well, we've talked about Vega as Shaker, the one big hero that can make plays, and boy, does Mag deliver or what.
I mean, even with that, and they try to follow up with at least some sort of objective, because, you know, they hadn't really taken a tower at all. You know, now they look to go down mid lane, and both Goreus on the Shadow Demon and the Lesh can easily clear out the creeps and keep them at bay with the poison. Well, they're making it go here onto an AM illusion, but it's not going to be here. So they couldn't even get the tier 1 mid, and then the top tier 1 gets denied. So even though Vega win that fight, they're not able to follow it up like as much as they'd like. Getting at 2 towers, hopefully, really boosting their economy back up to at least try to be on par with PR, but even with the numbers advantage, they couldn't even break through the strong defensive hold of PR.
It does show you how far behind they are, and at the same time, to be able to even take a fight like that from this far behind shows you how strong the draft is, right? Imagine if this is an even gold game. Vega is going to be crushing the fights. At least it feels that way after the last one, and I think that's where PR are going to slow down a bit. They do still have some good aggressive wards up. Well, they've got the one towards mid, now one bottom. Maybe try to wait around for that next Roshan, but Dakota, it's I'm just looking at the way Vega are moving right now. We're seeing nothing but love. Tule Meme just getting more aggressive on the map. They're starting to roll up these towers finally. You mentioned the tier 1 top gets denied, but at least it's down. They're now going to take the tower mid. That one won't be denied. Start farming the enemy ancients. They're finally getting out on the map, and they were not getting out on the map for like a solid 15 minutes there. So this is still progress for Vega on the whole.
A Solar Crest now picked up for Cheshire Cat on his Dark Seer. Definitely makes things easier if they wanted to kind of sneak in and do the secondary Roche once it comes up. But overall, fantastic item. Obviously, the evasion will help against the heavy right clicks of either the AM or the Shadow Fiend. And they are going to have a hard time dealing with the minus armor on top of it. But you're right, they're doing a good job. They split push a bit. AM, gets spotted out, but might be able to TP away. No, they caught him with the Yules, followed up with the Split Earth. Tule Meme, how dank is it now? Can he get away from this? No, vacuum, he is dead. Oh, AM, not happening.
Did not, honestly, you just die there and buy your Myth Hammer, I feel, but just goes for the panic blink while ruptured, and I guess he's decided if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be to the Blood Suka, not to the vicious Leshrac. He's chosen his poison, and I'll eat it. Dead for 50 seconds, though.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe it's better he doesn't buy the hammer, because he may actually have to buy back here the way PR's moving out. So I stand corrected. This might just lead to a push.
PR would love to,
as I say that, they back off.
They would love to force.
Curse.
They would love to force the buyback here. They start charging towards mid lane.
They seem a little indecisive, though, because they send Cheshire Cat bottom, and he won't be able to join them initially for this.
Looks like they will be able to kind of keep him back in at bay. Mag obviously has his Echo ready to go. He's getting some repels here from Omni Knight, so when he makes that committed jump in, shouldn't be stopped, but it looks like it's going to be stalled out. Plenty of time here for AM to come back without having to kind of dip into his piggy bank, so we'll be fine for now, and maybe PR just kind of pressuring all lanes forward so that when this Roche does pop up, they'll have plenty of wiggle room here. And in the meantime, they'll just take advantage of the extra farm on the map, taking over the Vega jungle and continuing to keep like this top lane cut and back towards the base.
By the way, Silver Edge removes the spell shield, right?
Yes.
Do you know?
It should. It's a passive, and it does do break.
I know there's like a few weird ones that it doesn't rip. Oh, Sanika. Oh, Jesus.
See you later.
Just brutalized in the mid lane. Omni Knight on his own can't do a whole lot, but yeah, I'm interested to see Dayara go back for Sanji Yasha. It's on the later end, but it may not matter at this point as they look to bully into the high ground. There's a buyback on the Omni, but that's an expensive one, Dakota. They need a good Echo. Can Mag find it? The nice spread here from PR. Defensive supports in the back. This is going to be very tough to hold. They smoked him, though. Here we go.
Mag, it's on him. Can he dish out the big dunk? PR onto it, though. They had a nice spread formation here. They don't want to stay too long. They know Omni's back in 10, and a quick TP Guardian Angel could prove to be a bit disastrous for PR if they do get a bit over-aggressive, and instead we'll pull back. They see a nice double stack of this Ancient Camp that they'll take for themselves. Conveniently for them, it looks like the tiniest of timers here, as Roche is already back up and ready. If they get a glimpse of that, they might just decide to step in there and get themselves the extra life.
Yeah, they are gearing up for a pretty fearsome mid-game. At this point, PR with 2 cores around that 18k mark, the Leshrac and Bloodseeker. Decent late-game heroes as well. Leshrac gets to that point where you have to run at him and focus him or he will destroy your team, but you really can't do it against the Disruption and the Wyvern as well. So, and the dual Glimmer Capes on that note. So now a double damage Bloodseeker shocking his way through Roche. Jesus, he hits hard.
My God. Right. Yeah, don't fight into that. If you're Vega. The guy hits like a freaking truck. So they're going to have to step back. Oh, man.
All right. Now, the last time they had the Aegis, Dayara throws it away a bit in the enemy jungle, dies a second time. I don't see that happening again. PR are right now 5-manning down mid as a ball of doom. And it's going to be up to, again, the Shaker to find that initiation.
Anthony's still out farming. It looks like he's trying to bulldoze forward. Does have his BKB complete, but he's committing for this without a buyback. So if something goes wrong here, it could be, well, it could be game. You have to hope for a big Echo Slam for him to be able to kind of clean it on up. Your tier 3 does go down. Rax is exposed. Mag still waiting in the wings, hoping that maybe there'll be that hopeful opportunity for a jump and dunk. But they're nice and spread here on the side of PR. Just having Sunlight dance in and out. Catches out Mag. Throws over to Yules. There goes the early disruption. Raw, though, caught in a bit of a pinch here. Gonna get saved in the cold embrace, so he's all good. There goes Sunlight. And there goes Tulamine. Jumping Echo does catch 2, but it's the 2 supports, and it's not going to do that much of damage. Now Raw trying to man up. That would be his Aegis. They get the follow-through kill, and they wipe out the support duo. And now it's Meme making the chase on the Cheshire Cat. Raw has to run away. Sunlight there trying to, keep him at bay. Dish out as much damage as possible, but they've already lost in numbers. Big Wall will fly out, forces him back. Solo could go down, but a nice grave will save him. And now they run out. So Nico going to get chased down. Could be cleaned up here, but he's making him work for it. Raw looking to finish off that one. Meanwhile, Sunlight gets the finishing blow on the Solo. Look at this. Yules. Bottle has been dropped. And now the heart will go down.
Oh, that was so unfortunate. So many funny little skirmishes, but as the fight starts to break down towards the end there, that's where Vega's lineup struggles. Like when the Bloodseeker's just chasing somebody on his own, Darkseer's making moves in the jungle, ends up being a pretty even fight, and they did it to fight through the Aegis, but can they hold? That's the question here. The Shadow Fiend will buy back, and by golly, Dakota, I think they've actually done it again. Well, uh-oh. Okay, Anti-Mage will be fine. There's nobody else here. He's got Mana Void in 9 seconds.
Oh, an Invis. How convenient.
There is a Bloodstone deny ready anyway, but ideally you don't want to be using that. He's the gem carrier after all. They hold again though. Aegis down now. But look who's got 7,000 gold.
Yeah. And, well, he commits a big chunk of that gold to what looks like a relic. Okay. So, a Radiance build-up? Or no, probably the, obviously, the relic for the Abyssal Blade, yeah. So he's going to be able to have that extra bit of lockdown for when AM thinks he can make a committed jump on forward, regardless of BKB or not.
I mean, don't you feel like these players owe the viewers some entertainment? We had 2 kills in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to go Rapier here, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's mandatory. You
have to go out with style. PR are back, baby, and they're going to do it with a Rapier.
Boo. Well, PR coming in as... It was pretty significant underdogs, right? It was, what was it, like 75-25 or something?
80-20 when I checked yesterday. So value hats coming in for anyone who went with PR. But do you think that if this game continues the way it does, and let's say Vega end up going down, would you put more of it just based on the draft they managed to throw together? I mean, that's how I would feel. I just feel like what they put for themselves wasn't going to be able to be very fruitful. I mean, it's just they were very defensive early on. They put a lot in the back of this AM being able to be a big dominance in the late game. And even though Shadow Fiend got a lot, I just don't feel like Vega are able to be as easily offensive. You know, lack of initiation, lack of lockdown might be attributed to it, but I don't know. I just don't feel like this is the draft for them.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at the way the game's played out, right? And Vega, they had, I think, about as good of a laning stage as you can expect. They had 2 very weak laners in the Omni Knight Earthshaker. You've got Anti-Mage, who's decent against Darkseer, but by no means a lane dominator. Uh-oh, he's going to find Cheshire Cat top, though. He does have the Mana Void, but that Solar Crest Evasion doing some work. They're able to keep him alive. They baited out the Mana Void and the Anti-Mage BKB. That was the 9-second one. Well, Shrek, meanwhile, just going to self-use himself. Oh, self-use himself and himself again. He'll end up not getting the job done, but they force out the BKB, the Mana Void as well, and Anti-Mage will go into a Basher now. Yeah, I mean, I think to answer your question, they got about as good of a laning stage as they could get. It's not like Vega really threw any fights. They even managed to kill the Bloodseeker on his own with the Aegis. I don't feel like they've played poorly. I feel like the one thing which we kind of touched on but didn't really talk that much about is like they just don't have that hero that can make plays around the map. The one fight that they took pretty convincingly was an amazing echo by Mag that you can't really count on happening, to be honest. With that, they're still in it. They have good split push here, but man, it is a steep hill to climb at this point. 20k gold deficit, 8,000 experience. They got a lot of work to do if they want to get back in it. And to me, Dakota, the biggest concern at this point is they've only got 2 heroes farming, and one of them's almost capped out here in Tulamine. Whereas you've got PR with, I would say, 4 heroes farming. Even the Shadow Demon and Wyvern starting to get their items out. Yaron, Tulamine, look who's got the Abyssal Blade. No mana for Rupture. He gets the bash.
Not enough, though, but they get the jump. He's not going to be going too far. The bird's going to lock him back, plus the vacuum. He's trying to make it out and away. Barely alive, 50 life, but oh, there he goes. Yules, and almost the Yules could have finished him off there at the end, but it is going to be Sunlight who does get the kill. Oh, and now Fissure flying out from Mag, trying to slow them down. They know they're at a huge disadvantage. This is 80 seconds without your anti-mage, and he has no buyback, so say goodbye to your mid-racks and possibly another set. I mean, hell, this could be the game, potentially, LD. No AM at all, and it's just a desperate Shadow Fiend split pushing the top.
That was a really risky play to go for. He's 160 gold from buyback. He actually just got it because they got the tower top.
Nice.
So maybe they can hold the tower here, but I'm really surprised he went for that play. Bloodseeker had the Abyssal for some time. They're going to make a move, though, now. Sunlight. He was Blood Rage. They're looking for that Echo Slam initiation. Mag forces in, but then he sees the BKBs, wants to back off. Fissure comes through. Very nicely placed. The Requiem doing very little here, however. Tule Meme committing to this one. Blinks a little bit into the fray and then retreats out. Tule Meme going to end up backing off now. BKB comes out. Oh. He's looking for the Mana Void. He's got it ready in 1 second time. There you go. Finds Fissure. Get the triple kill. It's going to be an Ultra off the back of that buyback. And now they're down a lane of racks. The lanes are pushing against them for the most part. But they're still in this fight, Dakota. That was a 4K gold swing.
That was a huge hold right there. Perfectly timed Guardian Angel to save out the Shadow Fiend, who just came to the fight, so they just dished out the Winter's Curse, so he wasn't able to get anything off. But with that Guardian, they couldn't really punish him for it. AM made the quick jump to the back lines and just rid of Gorius before he could even get anything off. And because they started struggling and losing that support staff, Diggy moving a bit too far, injected inside the base, he gets isolated and easily picked apart. It just crumbles. PR now, they lose 4. Vega holds strong. They may be down in racks, but they are equipped with this AM to help pull out the late game. Certainly not over quite yet, so they hold strong for now. I think the next rush is going to be a big factor here in this game. If Vega are able to get it, they'll definitely be able to prolong this one. Hell, even if PR managed to grab for themselves, Vega have already shown that they have the high ground kind of a game to just force PR to second guess when is the right time for them to try to get the finishing blow on this game.
Man, I gotta tell you, this Shaker for me has just been amazing. Even though everybody was basically magic immune in that fight on PR, that at least all the important heroes, the Fissure still manages to like path block a couple of PR heroes away from the base. He's just done such a good job at breaking up the fights, and it's against all this magic immunity and defensive supports. The Glimmer Capes negate a lot of his actual damage output, but it just shows you how powerful Spell Fissure really is. Even when you get 43 minutes in, even when everybody's magic immune, has blink daggers, has mobility spells, he's still finding ways to make plays here for Mag. And I would say him as well as the 2 supports, keeping them in this game. But uh-oh, Saniko, he's been found top.
Have a Glimmer. Oh, they have a Sentry though, so Saniko gets spotted. They could look to finish him out here, and it looks like they will. So a nice little soul support pick, nothing too devastating, though he is out for 50 seconds without a buyback. But just to turn it back even further, it's also huge credit to the Shadow Fiend. If he didn't take that tower top lane, AM would not have had a buyback. He would have not been able to been there to be a part of the fight. So that just kind of worked out beautifully for them. Now he has an ultra kill.
He does, unfortunately. He's still, they are hunting him in the woods here. If Tule Meme, silence comes out. He blinks out just in the nick of time as the Rupture Vision. He's getting fogged a bit. He could get it off now. Manta now being used, still retreating. Tule Meme gonna make it out, but he's living life on the edge, man. And they're still getting out-farmed quite heavily. Despite these wand fights here and there, an ultra kill for AM, some towers, they're still down 15k gold, Dakota. And again, the heroes that are farming at this point, Anti-Mage and Shadow Fiend, running out of item slots pretty quickly. They can get a couple, they can replace some like tier 2, tier 3 items with tier 4 items, but it's not like they can just get a brand new item that's going to massively ramp up their damage output. And meanwhile, the have-nots continue to be the supporting cast, but Vega's going to make a move here into the Roche Pit. Bit of a gambit. It seems it may pay off. PR's not ready, and they're not headed the right way.
Oh, this is going to be an easy Roche grab from behind the back here of PR. PR are just hoping for their own smoke where they can pick someone off maybe in the jungle or caught out front of their own base, but they're going to be welcomed with some bad news. They see on the screen now, Age is going to be picked up, and it goes to the hands of Tule Meme. Now we'll see PR They reposition themselves. Maybe if someone heads back to this mid lane, they can get the quick jump, but Vega are going to be playing that reckless at this point of the game. Now they're just staying as a tight-knit group, knowing that PR are just kind of off the radar. See if these two groups end up clashing here, maybe near the secret shop. Spurs, PR going to push out this top lane a bit. Vega just happy to grab this Aegis, and they'll be able to be a bit more confident in what could be their next potential high ground hold.
Game's definitely going to slow down a bit now. Vega, the team that's down a lane of Rax and has another one exposed with no AM buyback, but because they have the Aegis, the AM's going to go ahead with his next purchase, as buyback is cooling down in about 2 minutes. I mean, that's big. If PR get that Aegis, I think they get their second lane of Rax here, almost assuredly. There's a slight chance that if Vega has that miraculous fight again, they can hold, but even if you hold and win the fight, it's probably not before PR get that second lane of Rax. So a big snag there, a risky gambit that I think they needed to go for, and ends up paying off in the end. But still, man, just look at PR and how much they're farming. Leshrac actually 6-slotted at this point with some gargantuan items. Could maybe trade out the Yules, but that's really about it, and it's a nice setup ability item for him in general. They're farming up their Darkseer from the offlane. I mean, the supports have had big farm. And one thing we haven't talked about is the new Demonic Purge change. I forget when it was, maybe 2 patches ago, when the Aghanims got changed so that it actually breaks your passive abilities now. Great against an anti-mage. You can instantly remove that spell shield, and I'm not sure if it worked against the Shadow Fiend's Necromastery, but I believe it does against Presence of the Dark Lord, so pretty useful item to have. And I mean, not only does he deal with the Omni Knight Repel, but now he deals with a lot of these heroes' damaging abilities as well.
And he gets 3 charges of it, and he's almost level 16, so he'll get it maxed out here momentarily where the damage does get buffed up. So if you do 3 charges onto one person, I wanted to do 400 3 times immediately, like 1,200 bits of damage back to back. I've ever played Shadow Demon with an Axe. I love the hero, but with an Axe, I'm very curious if you could just stack the damage right on top of each other or not.
I guess they take that moment to go off. You know, it's not instant, so I imagine the damage does stack. I doubt the effect does, but I'm guessing the damage itself would, and you combine that with a Soul Catcher, a Blood Rage, potentially this guy's got like a massive Vagon in some sense.
I imagine though potentially it's just more of, you know, rid of Guardian Angel, Repel, just bop bop boop. He'll have 3 charges ready to go.
Yeah,
and
as much fun as it is to theory. Oh, top lane, we're gonna see a go here. Cheshire Cat getting caught out, almost finished off. The Bloodseeker tried to TP in, but I think the creep he was TPing to got cancelled. Oh no, he actually TP'd bottom. And simultaneously mid lane. We've had a go here. On to Suniko getting isolated. Now the Soul Catcher coming out, and he's quite food of his own. He'll end up falling too. 1 for 1 around the map.
Yeah, can't do anything about that. They had a sentry ready for the Glimmer Cape. It's not like he could repel or even just throw out a Hail Mary of a Guardian Angel. The Purge would have been there ready to go, so they just end up trading 1 for 1 here. Tulamine, though, making a good bottom lane with the help of Dazzle. Should be able to clear out this tier 2 relatively easy. Goreitz is swinging in, but we'll see. Tulamine does not want to risk getting caught out, so even if that means not finishing off the tower, but he does quick the Manta. There's going to be disruption. Soul Catcher will connect. Sunlight can't follow up with the stun as the BKB will be popped. Now looking to go Goreitz, but he does have the Glimmer Cape. Steps back here. Tulamine might be in trouble. There's going to be the Rupture. Blinks to his own death. The Aegis is going to be popped. Now they look to go for Goreitz, but the Abyssal connection. Saved for the Shallow Grave. Now Solo steps back. They look to go back for him. Shallow Fiend's still alive. Oh, he eats the cheese. He is filled up and ready to play, and now looks to turn back. Sunlight now on the run, but can't go far. The Yules is going to be there. Tulamine on his second life. Committing on in, looking to clear out Goreitz here. Goreitz low on life, able to live, earns up. J4 Ghost goes back for Goreitz. Can he finish off? Finally can. Meanwhile, on the other hand side, they're able to finish off the Shadow Fiend with the help of the Sunlight on his Lesh, but now he's the one that's in trouble. Or is he? He gets up a nice quick kill with the Shivas, but now, oh, it's the Hex. He's going to be there for Tulamine. Pulled back into the wall. Cheshire Cat doing what he can to save on his ally, pops the mech, and everything does get the kill there in the end. What an assault on the bottom lane. Ends up being a 3 for 3, but also counts the cheese and the Aegis on top of it.
mutually assured destruction across the fight. Oh, how hard are these Vega heroes to kill? You've got triple purge to deal with just the Omni Knight. You've got the cheese still on the other side gets off in that fight. They get off a great grave that keeps the Shadow Fiend alive for ages. Anti-Mage ends up going down in the end, but was just running roughshod over the backlines there, and it didn't look like a good fight for Vega again, but this is the strength of their lineup. They're down going into that fight. 15,000 gold.
Sunlight found Mag, gets the Yules. He gets Yules himself, but still managed to get the split Earth off. But now Mag is able to make it away with the help of a Glimmer and a heal from Sonico. And you gotta remember in that fight, I mean, Sonico, there was no Guardian Angel. So they still have that on their side. And Vega could utilize that. Maybe PR just figured that they might have used it. But here's PR now inside the base. That Edict doing serious work on these structures. AM not looking to dish out the buyback quite yet, but he's got it. 40 seconds still on the sidelines. They're going to need him here if they want to keep some of these racks.
The Echo. Meg's looking.
Boom! Catches it right onto 3, but is it enough of a follow-up here? Mag has to now retreat. There's a vacuum back. Gets the nice Abyssal onto Sonico. Solo's also in trouble. Guardian will go out this time. Now look at this. Tulamine trying to jump into the action. Gets quickly disrupted. And now has to pull on back and away. But here we go. Shadow Fiend looks to step in off BKB. The Requiem going to be going off, but they've already retreated back and away, except for Sunlight, who will get caught out. Trying to run away. Billy Goat Man going to get hit with the fissure. Can't quite make it out yet. Iran's like, I'll just finish what we started. Moves in, finishes off the racks, and is now going to race car back out and away. So 2 end up going down from the side of PR. They do get racks. That's going to be free as Tulamine does catch up with Gorietz and finish him off. But still PR just happy to walk away with a new chunk of damage inside the Vega base. Only one more set of racks between them and the Megas.
What a just ridiculous game. It's only 42 kills in 51 minutes, but it feels like action-packed as hell at this point. There's so many heroes that survive because of these strong defensive supports and items. The cheese and Aegis coming into play in quite a few fights here, but I think the bottom line is Vega aren't getting objectives when they take fights. They didn't even get the tier 2 bottom, which I don't know if we really mentioned it. Lived on 7 health here in the bottom lane, let alone threaten the high ground. There's still a tier 2 standing mid, and they get a lane of racks, and they also force out the AM buyback. So when the dust settles, a clear win for PR. They're not making it too easy on themselves, though. This Leshrac for Sunlight, who once had 17 charges, he's now down to just 9. Is up to another 6,000 gold, continues to outfarm the AM. And I think the biggest issue for Vega is just going to continue to be AM's done farming. What can he really buy at this point? He can maybe trade out the Vlads for something. Omni Knight was carrying it for a bit, but obviously doesn't give him the benefits of it. But he needs that lifesteal. I feel like they're just kind of cornered by lack of farm, as we'll see Tule Meme instantly TP and then cancel it. He's just going to walk his way towards bottom here. And now down 2 lanes of Rex Dakota, they'll be up against it the rest of the way, it feels.
Yeah, they're just hoping that maybe if this Roche spawns up, they can take it for themselves again or take a big fight there with a big Mag ultimate or something, but this clock not going to be as forgiving. Bit of a long one here, but as you could say, a bit of an advantage for PR on that front as they smoke up and go on the prowl. Gotta remember, this game started with 2 kills in 20 minutes. The 20 minutes plus thereafter has been another, what, 40 kills. So
oh, they found Sonico.
Oh, this is big. If they take him out, they're not going to have this precious Guardian Angel, and it looks like he will go down. That's a minute without Omni Knight, no buyback at all for him, and this might be PR's chance to just muscle their way into the base and finish off Vega. We'll see how they can hold. Good luck, Mag. Let's see if the big Echo Slam is going to be enough to keep them at bay.
Iraj just camping out this Roche pitch, just praying for the quick respawn during this minute death timer, but it doesn't look like it'll happen. 45 seconds on the Roche.
They got solo
35
bottom.
seconds on the Shadow Demon. Oh, speaking of, or the Omni Knight rather, is the Dazzle will get caught up bottom, able to grave TP away, but look who's gotten caught out as well. Ra ends up blowing up the Shadow Fiend. They almost lose 3 heroes, end up dropping 2, and neither of the Vega heroes that are dead have a buyback. Dakota, this is possibly Megas at this point. 80 seconds without your Shadow Fiend. At this point, mostly there, I feel, just for the Requiem, because everyone's constantly getting healed, disrupted, kept alive, or just survived by the Wyvern. But, oh, too late meme, now hexed up, caught out, almost gets instantly stunned by the potential Bloodseeker Bash, but the Era still hunting him, does not have the Rupture. It looks like a little space created here. they're not going to push through bottom lane. They don't actually know Shadow Fiend's short of buyback gold, and they're not going to chance the potential of a turnaround there.
Yeah, I mean, it was good on Sunlight. He made that rotation to the bottom with those bo3, I guess I like to call it, to catch out the Dazzle. But I didn't know why Shadow Fiend rushed down there to maybe be at his side, and because of it, Ra was able to catch him out and get that quick pick off. And whereas Dazzle would have made it out alive with that clever, grave TP at the end. But now they're down a Shadow Fiend at a time when PR is going to be going in now for the Roche. But here comes Vega. They're thinking about it. They're inching in from the top, but it might be too late here. They're dishing off some good damage. Oh boy, here we go. Mag looking to live the dream. Do they have the vision? It doesn't look like it. Both teams don't really know what's happening on the other side. Is Mag going to go in? They give him the repel.
Now they use the Dazzle ult.
Oh, they see the trigger. They lead in with a fissure, jump in. He's able to take the cheese away, but he will promptly die possibly thereafter. There's a grave, eats the cheese, and dies again. Oh my god. So double death almost. Yules. Man, Mag's making it work for it. Manages to get the Echo Slam off as the exclamation point to his death. But now Tulamine jumps in onto 3 here. Pops his Manta, continues to run out past and ahead to get away from trouble. His BKB already committed for this one. He knows if he goes down, could be just the game like that. So with it, it's still a big fight for PR. They now have Aegis on hand. Meanwhile, Tulamine making a chase on the Goriath.
It's Glimmer Cave, Goriath.
He has no vision, no way to catch out these supports. It's not like they're
and meanwhile, Solo's going to get caught out mid. He does have a grave available. Ghost Scepter for now. Throwing out the Poison Touch, rather. Now gets back in, gets off the grave in the nick of time. Ra taking heavy damage here from the Shadow Fiend with the MKB, but in comes Ra again. Surges on forward, and with that move speed, goes to work, chopping wood, and Fiends along with it. They'll bring down the Shadow Fiend, 4 dead, and GG. Well played. It kind of feels like Vega just threw in the towel there. They see the Aegis going to PR, and Earthshaker's like, screw it, man. I'm going to blink in, grab that cheese, eat it, Echo Slam, and then die anyway. It was going to be uphill at that point regardless.
It didn't feel like that game was as easy as I thought it would be for PR, considering how favorable I put their draft. Just kind of credit to Vega and how skilled they are, even when they don't feel like they have the upper hand on paper. But they